that to 7:30.
But people will be in for the 8 o'clock meeting.
Yeah,
Right, but if we moved them till 7:30, they'd be in at 7:30 for the 8 o'clock meeting.
Yeah, we still have to get work done.
We usually get almost
Usually
everything
done
done.
I just sent him.
Some nights are lately. You've never been here when we've been here till 1 o'clock in the morning, have you?
I've been presenting at 1 o'clock in the
Yeah, so
morning.
you know. Would you wanna do your regular business after that?
First banner approval, we were down at the annex till 2 AM.
Oh.
Wow. I know it was multiple months of it.
Thank you for getting that
Oh,
brush.
you got, yeah, right, yeah, it turned out all right, 2 loads, get out of the little truck.
Okay.
Got your driveway graded, see?
Yeah.
Hopefully the water will get off there. That looked pretty good.
My son was like, how'd you get all that out of there? I said, I got a 4-wheel drive truck and a chain.
Dragged it down to the,
That was
town
it.
down. Oh, you dragged it over there with the truck?
Well, I put it into the center because I was gonna do it myself, and then they charge now to bring all that
Oh, yeah,
brush.
well, I don't take it there, but.
Well, I figured
yeah,
you have your
right.
burn pile.
Yeah, I.
It's a 95
bush.
So
Done.
Is
I
it?
did that, and then
The second, the one at Sanford.
Yeah.
We did that.
so I cut it up and I put it off to the side. I made it easier for them to load.
I had a schedule.
You know.
But you had
Yeah, they
stumps there
finished
too, you pulled
both.
stumps out?
Both ones they finished ahead of schedule. They got,
Oh,
well,
yeah,
they
okay.
opened up.
Pulled everything right
No,
out.
no kidding, yeah.
Just
wow.
hopefully these
They
had
weren't
trust us
gigantic.
to find out.
95 was open for.
What are you
Should
too
bring
close
some of
to
that
the
stuff
wall,
to this town.
Well, I didn't get their approval.
Open up the bridge construction? Not really the demand for it. Yeah, see, 95, 1/95 for, I don't know,
It was all hemlock.
Foxtown Road. Yeah, which one can we close for?
He put it up to buffer himself against his grand nieces and nephews having fun.
Yeah, you
But
didn't
that was
see it.
No.
the tough part with that one.
We're gonna use the
Actually
screen
getting-
one,
Okay.
because this is telling me no data, but the card's in there.
The location.
Is the
To
card
the
full?
location to lift,
No.
because 95 is
Batteries,
on a
no.
curve,
Yeah.
so to
I
cross.
thought we usually use both.
For elevation.
We
to
do
it.
use both.
And that was
So-
too much for the.
I'll leave it on, but it doesn't seem to be recording, so
And comp
I've got that going,
but
so
the first
I
thing
can
they
use
did
that.
was shut down.
Okay.
That's legit.
I guess I'll call to order the East Haddam Planning and Zoning Commission for June 11th, 2019. Could we have attendance, please?
Curry Brownell,
Here.
James Curtin,
Here.
Kevin Matthews, absent, Harvey Thomas,
Here.
Bernard Gillis,
Here.
Louis Salica, absent, Ed Gubbins, absent, Richard Pettinelli,
Here.
and Joe Zaid, absent.
Okay. But you can sit in for Kevin. You can be the secretary tonight.
Oh, I have to call
Okay, minutes of our past meeting, which would be May 28th.
I had a couple little details on it. On page 3, the last line at the bottom of the page, it says tax shop would be, it should be on, the smaller on. And what else? And then on page 6, at the large paragraph near the bottom of the page, and the very last line, talked about Mr. Nimmergut explained that there was a pipe that drains straight out to the fields. I think he meant that was the pond. It was the pipe from the wheel that went right to the pond. So it should say, instead of fields, it should say pond. And on the next page at the top, Mr. Casner, Chairman EDC, the last word there says, and maintaining its original, it should say architecture, U-R-E. Other than that, I'm good.
it. I gotta find all that he does.
Top of page 2, cemetery land procurement, the last line, Mr. Gillis indicated that he will conduct the research for cemetery plot allotment. I don't remember that.
Were you here?
We
I thought we
tried.
just assigned you that.
We tried.
I don't even know what it is.
Which line was that?
Yeah, where are you?
Page 2?
Second.
First paragraph. bottom
Paragraph
line.
C.
Oh, page 2.
Okay, that he will conduct the research.
Wasn't that you who said you were gonna look for the
cemetery
actual
plot
one?
allotment.
Yeah.
So it should be
Curry.
Prairie.
Oh, that was you? Oh, okay.
For cemetery plot allotment for more lots. Okay, yeah. Okay, anything else?
No.
No. Guess we'll accept the minutes as amended. Bills? I have two.
You do.
Yep.
One's for Halloran and Sage for $92.50,
Yep.
and the other is Malone and McBroom for $1,200.
Yep.
What was the Halloran and Sage?
92.50. That was for legal advice concerning proposed zoning regulation change. Which change
That
was
was the
that?
accessory unit to
Okay.
review the language.
You're good with those?
$1,200. Yeah.
Motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Is that our last payment for Malone?
No, no.
You bill us.
Well, speaking,
Bill us forever.
Speaking of them, we're.
Not yet, because he still has some things to do.
Forget it.
Yeah, how deep are we into them at this
We're
point?
getting close.
We are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're almost done.
Yeah,
He has
so,
a small package to present
thing.
to us.
Yep.
We have our public hearing, and then we have the town meeting.
the executive summary is supposed to be,
Yeah,
Right.
he was hoping to have that for the next meeting.
that was supposed to be this meeting, right?
Yeah, I thought we were.
Well,
supposed
he
to-
was gonna try, but he didn't.
Okay.
He goes, he said, the upcoming or next meeting, so I'll remind him tomorrow
Those
morning.
consultants always get themselves wiggle room.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, but we're all set with the state time-wise?
Yeah,
Do we have to
we're
file
still on the
another
same-
extension
Yeah,
or not?
I sent all the notifications down to the regional planning agency. We do not have to, remember we said we had to send it to DEP?
Yeah.
I said, that's wrong, I said, but he worked in Chester and Essex, so,
Oh.
Chester and Essex, they have to, the line is right there. So we're not in the
Why
coastal
is that?
zone,
Oh, coastal.
the coastals, we're not the coastal zone,
Oh.
so we
Is
don't.
Lime?
Lime is, yeah, Lime, Chester, Deep River, Essex, Old Saybrook, Old Lyme. They're
But for
all,
hunting, we are.
yes, you know why that is.
Yeah, I know. I don't bait, but still.
Yeah. So, we didn't have to do that 90-day thing, so we're on track with everybody, as far as reviews.
Okay. COG got it? Does Gateway get it?
Yep, both got it.
Okay. I
said-
hadn't heard, so I wasn't sure. Okay, sorry. Okay,
Any
acknowledgement.
feedback on the web?
It's on the web already. It's right,
You hearing anything, or?
no, it's right front page. It's
Yeah,
right
I've
up
seen it.
front, right there. Plan of Conservation Development draft.
Nobody said anything?
Nobody,
No
No.
comment yet?
yet. It'll be 10 days after it's approved. You no good SOBs, you did this to us. What did you do?
'Cause then,
I should have known about this. Nobody told me.
I know, but, that's when you just do.
yeah, I can hear it all now.
You
Yeah.
can't do anything about it.
We're gonna go for a Walmart.
Yep. This page
That's
17,
what
isn't
the
it?
rumor was.
Oh, really?
We wanna rezone Town Street because they wanna bring a Walmart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Right.
Walmart doesn't know we exist.
You actually heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts, I mean.
Well, yeah, we
Well, I
can't
mean-
support Dunkin' Donuts for God's
Right.
People
sake.
just looked at reality, they know that, and I don't think
What do they want
Walmart's interested in Town Street, It's like.
Do they wanna
Heavy
put,
Donuts
take
doesn't
over
wanna be-
Rick Brownell and Company and make it a
You can get anything
Walmart?
to go there, really.
What is going on down at Brownell? What's the guy doing down there? In the new factory, all the way in the back? Is he refurbishing boats and trailers?
Right
Someone's-
now, it's up for sale and it's
Yeah, but
under.
someone's working out of that back. I go for a ride down there every once in a while just 'cause it's my
Yeah.
own backyard, and I figure no one's really gonna question me if they ask me.
Right.
Give me a free ride, 'cause you know what I'm saying.
You might get by, I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, I go back there, there's boats and old campers and stuff that someone's in the new, actually right by your house.
Yeah.
Someone's in there working.
Well, now the trees have grown up enough. I don't see it, but I'll have to go take a spin because right now it's for sale, and they sold the bowstring.
But they
part
could rent.
to their competitor.
They could rent one of their buildings out. Do
Spider?
they have to come to
Did that
us?
go to Middletown?
Is it Spider?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do they have to come to us if they go to rent that out for some use?
Well, if they technically no, if it was rented out for an industrial use,
Yeah.
they wouldn't.
Okay, so they don't officially have to come.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But they would have to get a CO through the building permit.
But I still got one.
Particularly, it's got a CO. It's an existing factory.
Who owns the building?
Well, whoever owns the company probably does, right? Or is that a whole
Well,
company?
the person who owned it passed away and his son, I guess, took it over. No one knew that he had died, and I'm not quite sure in legal limbo where it ended up,
Yeah, I mean,
to be honest with you.
because it's a corporation, the probate papers are filed in Hartford, so we don't have a chance to look at that here.
My family's been out of it since '76.
I mean,
so
they can rent it out to anybody they want.
Yeah.
Within guidelines.
Right.
if it meets, yeah, if it's,
But right now, it's been for sale for quite a while, the
And the
signs up
bowstring
front,
people are gone.
they're gone,
I
yeah.
heard they were gonna move to Middletown.
I hope they did. At least keep business, in Connecticut.
Yeah, well,
And they had a girl there that, they were sponsoring her and letting her shoot at there. I didn't know
Oh.
that, dear. So she comes in, she goes, yeah, well, now that they're selling it, I've lost my spot and I need a spot to shoot. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, well, I'm in the top 20, actually she's now ranked top 10 junior archer.
Yeah,
Really?
You should go across the street.
heard of her.
There's a 80-yard archery right across the street up behind my grandfather's
Yeah,
house.
but she needs to go somewhere that's safe. So now she's at the sportsman's club in a spot where there's a backstop.
There was one there.
70 yards.
Really?
70 yards.
And she can hit a bullseye.
I
She can
learned.
hit it better than guys can standing with a rifle in their arms and doing it. It's scary.
Was it, Gina Davis was that actress was
Yeah.
Olympic
Was she?
caliber, and like she would shoot like from the other side of the road through her garage out the back door into
Oh.
her target.
So, it's unfortunate she lost this, that sponsorship, but, they
so she was shooting 70 yards in this building,
outside.
outside the.
I never saw her once.
Oh, okay.
So none of the arrows made it over my way.
Well, it's quiet.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
that's
real
'cause they
quiet.
keep getting the
If she's
I
that
used to
good,
shoot
they're not
across the
likely
street.
to.
No one ever knew.
target stops them.
Goes
never
into the
missed.
backyard of the Amnesty Day House.
Yeah.
Still there, as far as I know.
You getting all this, Tony?
Okay, discussion, plan of conservation development. We discussed it?
I think so. We're, on
CEO.
track.
Okay.
CEO, we'll go from the simple to the complex. The easy one is quarterly newsletter from the Connecticut Federation of Planning and Zoning. The one is the, single occupancy of a home, and this one happens to be a sober house, and they basically have decided that it can be treated, as a home.
The residents?
Yeah, just like a group home. Group home statutorily is protected. So as long as you don't exceed the capacity of the facility by septic and well. Yeah. So that was the bigger one.
Yeah, group homes popping up all over the place.
Yeah, it's
The one went up the road from me and no one was, it never even came in front of you.
It doesn't have to.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
It goes,
Which one?
goes,
The one up by Fiala's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, no, they don't have
They don't
to,
have
because it's, under the zoning statutes, they're treated as a single family
Right.
home.
Yeah.
And, after the initial, when they get in there, then after, neighbors get accustomed to it after about 5 months, and I don't hear anything about them after that, and we have quite a few. Last
Well,
month,
just while we're on the subject, that house down the street from you, Mill Road, are we still having problems with that, or?
it's an
Well, it's a-
amoeba.
It's a mess.
Oh, yeah, we'll always have problems with that.
It's a mess.
That's the one
other
that
than
just passed
I
for the
drove
group
by it
home.
last weekend.
The garbage piling up?
Oh.
Well, then let's get the cops down there.
It's a constant back and forth. I went by a couple,
So there's
3 weeks
there
ago.
is an occupant of this place?
Yeah,
Because it looks like a abandoned house.
Yeah.
No, there's a family that lives there, there's
Yeah.
young kids
Oh, wow.
young kids,
Really?
children that live
Yeah.
there.
and,
Well, it's a mess, that's for sure.
and it's actually, the ones that got some teeth on it is Chatham, because it's trash.
Right.
Do the neighbors complain, or?
Yeah, if it gets
Hear
out of
anything?
hand, they call.
The police have a hard time with that because they have 2 driveways. So it's not like they can, it makes it difficult to monitor what goes on in that. Because there's one driveway on Mill Road and the other's on Clark Hill.
Oh, they can get out through Clark
They
Hill.
go either way. So they can't just, you know what I'm saying, sit on one road
Yeah.
and monitor it.
Yeah, it just seems like it's an accident waiting to or already happened.
So, I kinda updated you about the Dan Lakeside's
Oh, yeah.
fiasco.
Yeah, I drove down there.
Holy.
So today, the
That's a private road, right?
Yep.
Okay, so the
So-
town is out of it.
I'm
Pretty
sorry.
much tells you the
Was
story.
I here
That's
for
the
this?
boat launch.
So,
Yeah,
were
last week we talked about
You
it.
don't have to
Last
go
month?
all the way to the reservoir to launch, apparently.
No, you
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
So this is
today.
Boat Launch Road or whatever.
Yeah,
Today?
that was today.
This was
Today?
today's puddle, huh?
That was today. The property owner that lives at the end of the road, so if you looked at that red building, there's a roadway to the
Yep.
right of it that's got about an 4 to 18 inches of water right now.
Foot to 18?
Yep. He lives at the end and he says, I've had enough, I'm not gonna take it anymore.
Don't blame him.
And he asked for all of the zoning approvals, all of the wetland approvals. And he said, you also need to look at it, because he added more gravel over the weekend. Some of it not on the area of his, designated parking. And he also mounted the parking to create that dam. So I took a look at it and I issued him a cease and desist from wetlands today. I sent the email and it'll go certified,
This is O'Meara.
O'Meara, yep,
This is
So-
to do with the open and the food.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
How the hell do you think that's good for business?
Well, and he obviously, so, but the property owner came up with a question for me. He said, I remember reading the minutes before, and then Mr. King in the minutes said that I questioned if there's gonna be sufficient parking and, you know, all that. And he goes, so now, due to his own fault,
Yeah.
he's eliminated parking for his business, which then forces the people that wanna park for the boat and his business in the roadway, causing an issue.
So now, does O'Mara live in that house? That's his
No, he
home?
lives up the top of the hill.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say,
So
so
when
how
you
does he
look-
get to his place? Drive right through all this crap?
When you look at the site plan that Mr. O'Meara handed in, I kinda put it purple,
That's
because
the
I couldn't
puddle.
find a blue one. That's the puddle. So it blocks them from getting through the 6 through 10 or 11 parking spots,
So,
cause it's deep.
but all this is to his own detriment and everything else, I don't get what he's trying to accomplish here. Now, let's just get this straight, he had a pipe, there was a pipe across here somewhere, right?
Correct.
And it ran in an open ditch
It
through?
ran under the road, into
pipe.
his yard, into a, like, storm drain, then picked up additional water, and from the storm drain, it was piped underground to the reservoir.
So it was all in pipe,
It was all in pipe.
So why did he rip it out?
so what's the point?
When the storm in September came about, it overtopped and gouged up everything. It was a 7-inch storm.
I know.
It happens.
You're right, we all know.
He decided to eliminate everything, according to him. I can't confirm if the pipe under the road's gone or not. The neighbor said, I bet he plugged it,
Yeah,
because I don't see
Yeah, you
how.
can see the evidence on the roads.
But now he's on a,
Yeah,
warpath of,
it would
I'm
be
just
a,
gonna.
it would be a lot of effort to remove the pipe, so he probably did
Yeah.
it. He probably just
So I,
blocked it somehow.
based on his question, I did forward late this afternoon, because I took a look at the place and said, wow. I did forward to Branson Willis the question that if this condition exists on every half inch of rain, it's like this way, is the property owner right that the commission has the right to
Revoke is,
revoke his special exception approval?
well,
But let's go past that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Rich.
what does the fire chief and the police chief have to say about this? Because if I'm the guy at the end of the road,
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling them up every day saying, what's the delay in getting through the puddle when I had my heart attack?
Well,
And the town has an obligation to provide access.
But it is private, right?
It
I
is
mean,
private.
But where does the state fall in all this?
Well, there's the one
Because
that
it's a
really-
state
Yeah,
boat
the-
launch.
the
Yes.
launch.
So
and
that's
I
my
have-
question.
I have multiple emails constant to him about this, and so finally Randy said, enough's enough. I used to work with these guys, I'll call them. And he called the head of the boating division, which is in charge of that boat launch, which their property has the most flooding on it.
Yep.
And
Yeah, that's
loss
all
of-
theirs, right
yep.
there.
And they weren't really interested in pursuing it at this time.
You know
So-
what? Apparently they didn't see the pond
Well,
that is their parking
they-
lot.
This afternoon, they got the cease and desist via email.
Is this a cease and desist on the business?
I know, no, the
This is
wetlands
deep, right?
activity. This is, Dan got a cease and desist for dumping gravel, so he has to come into wetlands next Tuesday for that. And I let them know that I'm issuing them a cease and desist. Why? They've already had the whole history of the property as I talked about last month. And I showed them the pictures of this today. I wanna see, I'm interested, cause I sent it to 6 different DEP officials up there to see if I'm gonna get any reaction. Because that photo is, says it.
Do we have any sense of what this guy's trying to accomplish? Because this seems like it's, pointless, but, he's got other people behind him, he's got his own business operating there, he's got the boat launch, which he lives off of with this business, and then he floods the whole thing, and it's, what to accomplish what? I don't get it.
All because he had a blowout in a really big storm. It would seem this is more damaging.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the
So
Right,
maybe
yeah.
the pipe needed to be
yeah.
made bigger, and you can argue that with DEP.
Well, the pipe
all
did
day.
need to be made bigger. It was a 7-inch storm.
Right, we had roads washed out that are still washed out.
So,
Nature beats us all eventually.
She will always win.
okay,
But
so,
deep is washing their hands of it.
So that's the next move is wetlands.
Wetlands right now, I've legitimately, because he's put the fill in, yeah, that's one, but that only addresses the fill. You know, and the problem is with this sits, he's worried about the pollution of the lake. Well, the water goes up against the gravel he put there, you drive through it, it's all muddy slurry, and the slurry makes it right to the lake. You know, it goes around the
so,
corner.
now that water that's running out the ramp into the water, that's actually running?
Yeah,
So
that's-
this is like a stream?
This is running, so that's why I
Oh,
gave
okay.
it to you, so maybe if you take a drive out there
Yeah.
with this, you can take a look at it, and we can talk about it
That
the
looks
next
like it's
time.
running quite a bit
So-
over there.
Because I'm interested to see what, you know,
For the
Mark.
third time, Deep doesn't want to do anything,
Correct.
and that's what they said.
Yeah,
They're washing their hands of it. Why? What's their excuse?
I have no idea, it
State
baffles me.
bureaucracy.
I guess
Yeah.
that's-
Whose water was in the pipe that was, or
Yes.
whose water got to the catch basin that was removed, or whatever?
Well, the water comes
From
from
Rob.
the association uphill, but
But this is the association that never legally formed.
no, there's actually, it's weird, you know, he's on the association that never legally formed.
But that,
Legally
so,
formed association up here's here.
and
but
that one drains.
38
They have a legal right to continue doing so.
Where else can the water go but downhill?
Right.
So they could, I don't see it in their interest, but they could get involved.
Well, the problem though,
agreed
it's
party.
not affecting their road, it's
It's
affecting
affecting
the
their
other road.
drainage, so they have a right to discharge.
Well, and their drainage right now, what's happening is it's backing up in one person's yard at the toe of this. I don't know if that person showed up for the summer yet, but they can't be happy.
There's more than one house at the end of that road.
At the end of this road, there's 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
And-
there's more than just one
So
house.
7 people have to drive through this
Through
every
this.
day.
So you're saying right now it's only affecting that first lot?
No, there's, if you looked at
The
tree-
puddle's only there,
First
but
lot,
they all.
underwater, but the
Drive
other
through
people
to
have
get
to.
out.
On the
Drive
other
through.
association, it's affecting one lot.
Yeah.
On this roadway, it's affecting the 7 lots that are down the road
Yeah,
from
okay.
that tree. It's affecting everybody from the state of Connecticut who wants to use the boat launch and
Right,
can't.
yeah.
And it's killing his business.
It's,
So-
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you drive in, you turn around, you say, well, I can't get to
Yeah.
the door.
We'll go to the lower reservoir ramp, right?
Yeah.
I don't get
Is
it.
he able to rent boats, motorboats there? I thought it was just kayaks and
It's,
stuff.
no, he said he was gonna do a small 5-horse and,
Cause
you know.
those boats, cause when I went down there, he had those fishing boats for rent. Right up front.
a bigger one.
Yeah, they're right in the picture.
He's renting those?
Yeah.
No, it kind of exceeds his 5-horse discussion.
So is that that's a violation there too?
We shut him down.
No, but,
But we'll double check
so
that.
where are we? Where do you think this is going next?
Well-
You
Yeah,
have
what's,
some
what's the
idea.
game plan?
What I did is I asked Branson Willis their legal opinion that if he's a violation of his site plan, which shows parking and you can't use the parking, and it's gonna happen, you know, this isn't just a one-time occurrence, he caused it. Does the commission have the right to come in and say, look, if you can't, you can't provide the parking, and you've taken away the state parking, and you're forcing people to be into the road portion of it, just park, you guess you're not capable of running a business, so we'll see what they say.
But you're saying all we can do is shut his business down? We can't rectify the situation?
Well, wetlands.
Wetlands, we're gonna look to rectify the situation, but it's very difficult because the pipe is not, if this was a town road, we'd go in,
Right,
we'd
we'd
fix
do
it, we'd use our prescriptive easement for the thing, and we'd slap a lien on his property and bill him. We'd be
I
done.
find it.
But a
I find
wetlands
it
violation
hard to
can do the
believe
same
that
thing,
The town
can't
doesn't have the legal right to do something.
Well, you brought
Given
it
that
up,
there are 7 town residents who
Yep.
have to get emergency
you
services.
brought up an
Private
angle that I
road.
didn't think about, that's why I brought it up for tonight's discussion, so I will bring it to the fire marshal and police and say,
That's
hey,
another angle.
How about, what's the power that the 7 other homeowners have in petitioning
Sue
the town?
I'd go buy a vet to drive through here and get it wet so I could sue them.
Yeah, well, it's gonna bottom out in 18 inches, I can tell you.
Yeah.
You get your paddle out.
yeah.
Uh,
3 of the property owners are so upset, and I gave them all the paperwork that, yes, they are contacting their attorney.
Yeah.
They've had enough. And one of them said, you know, I have a year-round house at the end. So I keep oil in it. I don't come down and live here year-round, but I come down at Christmas. I come down when it's ice fishing. He says, I came through this year, and he said, I broke through, and the next thing you know, I was almost, stuck on the ice up on top.
I mean, this has been going on since the winter?
This has been going on September to blew
Oh,
out.
Jesus.
We didn't know there was a problem until someone called me in January.
Wow.
And when we went in January, and I called Dan, I said, the town can help you out here, where's the pipe? I took it out. You're not draining water on my property anymore.
How do people
Like,
actually
how does-
think that's?
How's that detrimental to him, though? What does he think he's accomplishing there?
He told, and we had this Sunday morning, I went out there Sunday morning with the association above him, myself, to talk about it. I want you to pipe it over there. I said, well, first place, Danny, that's uphill. And I wasn't joking, it was uphill. I said, so.
You've heard of gravity, right?
Notice dirt, man.
Okay, well, so he's
Yeah,
not being reasonable. Yeah, he will be before it's over.
yeah. And then when he did his final thing was after talking to DEP, and he called everybody at DEP saying it was the association's fault. It was our fault for not, issuing him a cease and desist for maintaining the roads and everything else. And everybody I talked to, they're like, hey, you wanna take a look at the photos? Take a look at the photos.
That pipe's probably
Nothing's
been there
changed.
since what, the 40s or something?
Correct, 1946.
Okay,
He's
so-
bitter because these people are dumping water onto his land.
Yeah, that's what he thinks, but I said, Danny, it flows downhill, you have 30 acres plus or minus.
So we
It's always
funneled it
going
into
here.
a pipe and away it
So
goes.
that pipe was in there before he ever even owned there,
Oh,
probably.
the best part about it, it's in the discussion of our minutes when he was approved. I actually had Brian Curtis give him some calculations for it in 2008 to say, hey, if you and the 7 people on that road wanna get some money together and put a reasonable sized pipe in,
Yeah, something bigger.
come to us with a wetlands application, and here's the calculations.
Do you know what size is in there now?
The discussion's been about 7 or 8 inch pipe,
Oh, small thing.
small. And the town
Well, it's
has
real
all that
shallow.
leftover 12-inch reinforced concrete, which is better than the plastic that he has. But yeah, no, he just, no.
Necessarily.
But you could even
Well,
put in 10-inch sewer plastic
Where
and
is
it's
that the
strong
top?
as heck and you could be shallow cover. and-
12, you don't get
All right, well, whatever.
12-inch pipe doesn't come in class 5. So it's not class 5 pipe and you need 2 feet of cover on it then to
Yeah,
make it.
well, it all has to be figured out when you go there, but you can't do anything if nobody's willing to do anything.
The plastic pipe, if you put it in the right way, is actually better than concrete in these situations. I'd go with ductile iron if it was me.
So originally, private people put this to get in, or did the town originally do it?
No, the
Associations.
owner, yeah, great for this, Bob Copa.
Oh, shit.
This is one of the owners of the thing, put it in back in the 40s, late 40s, early 50s.
This is one of his things.
Yeah, one of his,
So it seems like this guy's totally liable for everything that has
Everything.
to, everything.
absolutely everything.
Okay.
I mean,
And one of the
but
property
the
owners,
drainage had prescriptive easement, period, 40, 50 years, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't change that.
Right. Wetlands has the authority to shut them down, right?
not the business part, but the, remove the material and all that.
He'll be under an order to
Okay.
do so.
Okay. Someone else can shut them down other than us, correct? Or does it come back to us?
It might come back to us, that's why I asked Brant. but I wanted
DEP
you-
could have quite a bit of leverage because
DEP
they've
could
got
have
deep
all the
pockets
leverage
and
in
can
the
just
world.
go, hey, you'll be hearing from our attorney. I mean,
Right.
They could do that with
They could
snap
do
of a
that.
finger.
What's gonna move them is the neighbors. When the neighbors say, I'm suing you.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah,
that's-
all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Or emergency services.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's an
That's
angle
a
I
good
didn't even
route
think
to go.
about. So I'll pursue that tomorrow.
Yeah, have them go out like
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
Well, Friday would be a good day. We got a lot of rain coming
Got
Thursday.
half inch of rain coming, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Come on, guys, let's go for a walk.
I'm gonna
Just
launch,
curious, how long
I'm gonna
would it
launch
take
here,
for
I'm
this
gonna
to
like
drain down?
cascade down, you know?
Long
Yeah.
before it goes on
Yeah,
the water table
Interest.
jobs?
I haven't
kayak.
seen it. I haven't seen it drain down all spring.
Is that right?
It
It holds water.
it's holding water. I mean, before he took the straw out that drained the pond.
Yeah,
I mean, it's as simple as that.
okay,
You know, even though it didn't work on big storms, it worked on everyday stuff,
yeah.
and it drained out.
Is he having an oh crap moment? I didn't know I'd do that, now he's just stubborn?
As one
Like,
relative
I
said,
can't imagine, like, looking at this going, that was a good move.
Well, it could be as simple as just unplugging it.
yeah, it could be. Yeah. But,
So-
but as one relative said, please don't ask me to try to think about what he's thinking.
Do you know where the pipe is?
I'm within 10 feet, but what happens is
Now it's
everybody,
underwater.
when they go over it with these vehicles, the water's brown. You can't see. If you went there at 6 a.m. in the morning, you probably get a spotter.
Yeah, I figure out.
You know.
where it goes.
Okay.
Can you use a metal detector on it?
Well, don't know if it's metal or
Works with the water.
plastic.
Well,
I mean-
40.
Yeah, 40 something, it's
It's
metal.
it's metal. Yeah. They didn't.
Well, there might
I'm
be
wondering
have been
the grade.
replacements in between.
I'm just wondering where it goes in on this side. That's where he plugged it, more than likely. Well, no, he could have done it on his side.
His side could have just stuffed it.
Yeah, because that's not even his land on the other side of the road.
No.
Okay, what do you have for packages over there?
You talked about getting mapping or discussion of cemeteries, then I said, well, you know what, Carl put this together about a decade ago. It's a list of the existing cemeteries and a description of them and the assessor's maps that go with each property. And it's, once you get it, it's almost easier to open up.
Jeez.
Could you do me a favor? Give one of these to Deb.
Yeah.
She sits on the cemetery
Yeah.
commission.
Do you have 3 on it now?
What's that?
Did you get 3?
No.
So they're walling me out.
It's only been Deb and I.
So if you go to the second page, Carl listed East Haddam cemeteries and then labeled them 1, 2, 3, throughout. And he then laid them out on the tax maps. So even though he didn't put a label next to it, number 1, when you look at Hadline Churchyard, that tax map 3, it matches. So you gotta kinda go back and forth with the layout.
Oh, he's got them all.
Yeah.
Pretty thorough.
Oh, Carl is. Okay, the purpose of this was the town's looking for land. So we can start with the current cemeteries and explore the lands that are next to every cemetery and see if we can expand that way. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, is there a, like, so, where are, like, okay, so 23 is Ackley, but where's Ackley on this? Is there an index to like all these dots, which one is which?
So if
Do
you
you know
go
your town
to,
roads?
yeah,
Not
it's-
that well.
That's kind of,
79.
Ackley Cemetery is, I think it's
So-
here.
if you go to number 23 in the list, that's why I said, you go to the description part of it instead of what he did there. And then it says he has the location, map 79,
Oh,
lot 18.
Okay. Okay, and there's only one in each. Okay.
No, there's
There's a
two
couple,
on it.
there's at least one that has 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
so, but that's how he had it broken down.
okay.
See, now you can give a guided tour of the cemeteries of East Haddam. Which some of these things are very interesting.
Where's General
Yes.
Spencer's headstone?
It says it's stored away, and
Yeah,
I
where?
won't know where.
It says it's what?
Stored away for safekeeping. Cause they moved him to wherever from Millington.
Which there's gotta be a story behind that too. Why would you move somebody?
Isn't he the one who lost like Newport? Like he didn't fight right for Newport.
I don't know about that.
I don't think he was all that impressive.
A lot of families go fight in that war.
I did talk to Shalafo.
Yeah.
Square number 11, is that
They
your
were
Brownell
willing
Cemetery?
to listen to the
Yes.
discussion because they could off that and they were
Hungerford.
something in conversations on money,
Yeah.
but
Cemetery,
they've
yeah.
got land they could.
Brownell's married into.
They wanna maintain a strip to the back
I
between
was
the
with Rob
cemetery
Smith this
and,
weekend at Roaring Brook Reserve.
Yeah.
what's their name?
He
There,
said, you know
the
the
farm.
architect
Yeah.
on Mill Road?
And,
That's
but
the
I'm
really
thinking
nice
you
house.
could wrap
On
right
Mill
around,
Road?
Yeah.
you know,
And
Oh, yeah.
Mill and
And that would-
Clark Hill.
open that.
Oh, all the way down at the end there, yes. He's an architect?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Real
Uh-huh.
famous.
He has a cemetery up there.
He does, and
Yeah.
it's not marked on this map.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. It's on Square 21.
That's the end of Mill Road there?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's
You
the
go by
park.
Square 11 through 12 and down. Yep.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
21, okay, great, thanks.
I'm sure Carl didn't miss it.
Oh, no.
No.
I'm pretty
The
sure.
one I like is the one off of Tater Hill, the lower section of Tater. I mean, it's not as, it may not even be as big as this room, and I said, you know, someone says, I'm thinking of buying the house. I'd like to know what was in the cemetery.
Oh,
and
the
I-
one on the corner.
So I
AP
hand them
Gates.
this thing,
Damn.
it's called the smallpox cemetery.
It is, I read it in the Parker Journals. That's where they buried
That's
all
at the
the
corner, AP Gates right there in the corner?
No, not AP Gates, Tater Hill and, Route 82.
Oh,
the
Headland,
road-
the Headland down there,
Headland one,
okay, oh,
yeah.
down there,
Well,
yeah.
that's the one in 40 down Parnassus. Like they built the new house behind it.
Oh, that's
You know,
Mount Parnassus Cemetery, yeah.
They sink a well in there, and I'm like,
That house should never have gone there.
yeah, like you know, when I used to do
But we didn't
environmental
process.
tests, we would always do formaldehyde testing if we were, and we'd
Oh, there's no
find it.
there's no formaldehyde in that cemetery.
Yeah, that's just that's one
It's
thing. But,
arsenic.
yeah, exactly. There's other things there, you know.
You know those two headstones right on 82? in
Yeah, down
Haddam?
there in
Those,
Haddam.
those are in line, right?
Yeah.
Those fall in line?
I'm gonna take
okay.
a break.
I don't know what that is. Anybody know anything about
But
that?
it must have been a family
There's a
plot
family
of
set
some,
plot.
something.
And one of the guys who lives nearby spent some money and fixed them all up.
Yeah, I see that.
Reconditioned them.
So, just so I kind of understand here, the deal is, or the game is here, that there's no more space, so we're looking for space.
Correct.
And as you pointed out, I guess, the first thing would be, is there any opportunities adjacent to an existing
Correct.
lot? And then failing that, we'd have to say, oh, we ought to take part of the consumer union.
That it's a.
I mean, right in the middle of the
Aren't a lot
track,
of
what difference does it
appropriate
make? Nobody
places
uses
that don't have water problems,
Mm-hmm.
that are high water or really terrible digging? So there's all those issues of soils that go into it.
Yeah, right.
I know mine is very high water table. That's-
Things like yours, though, I mean, if we got creative, you could put a big curtain drain around the back of that, and you could isolate that so that you don't have that seasonal high water table. I mean, that's possible. It's,
I know it sits right on a ledge or something. It's
well, I mean, no,
know
but
what
they
it is.
dug, so they, whatever it is, you could get right down on rock, and you could make it, you could dry it up, but not without spending the money, you know?
Right. So
correct.
my thought was we take a couple of these every month, every meeting, and I do the contours, the topo, the overlay, and then the soil map and kind of label what kind of soils they are. So
Yeah,
the
we can
ones
do that.
that are wetland soils, you know, we'd say, okay, the water table to 18, water table to 24, water table to 36, depending
Because
on
I
what
thought
they
of
are.
some of these plots that might make good cemeteries, but they all have these conditions that are problem, but I mean, you throw money at it, you can fix those conditions,
I mean,
some of them.
Some have
Or you could have one of
bad
those.
Wedge,
conditions,
forget
and
it,
then
you
some
know.
of them have really bad, like the
Yeah.
one that's at the end of Three Bridges.
Yeah,
So immediately you step off of it, you're into wetlands, in
Yeah,
a floodplain.
yeah, there's no
So,
expansion of that.
You know, they kinda did what they did.
A little knoll of sand and they used it.
Right, behind it though, up the road,
No.
there's a whole new nice little 8-acre piece that's beautiful.
Could've been nice, yeah.
Yeah,
Someone's gonna wanna put a house on it though.
Well, they may want to, but if, I mean, the town could, has to step in and spend a lot of money, because, I mean, if they really want some public place for these burials,
Correct.
they don't just fall out of the sky.
Right.
You know, you gotta do something.
Well, the town
I
did
mean,
it
we
for
got
Smith.
25 million, we
What
got
happened with the
15
Smith
million.
cemetery? They wanted to donate a lot of land by by the Smith Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
But the town didn't wanna pay to have it all surveyed and stuff. She was gonna give it to the town.
That's,
This is how stupid
was
we are.
typical.
So she was like, the town said, well, you do all the surveying and stuff.
Oh, my God, this is.
How long ago is that?
Who knows?
They were brutal back then.
And who
They
was
were
that that did
brutal.
that? Peg?
Well, we're waiting for
So
it.
she sold it to whoever, what's that? Who's
To the
that?
association.
Yeah, what's that?
Got it, okay,
Yeah.
so that's how they picked that up.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the area that, and they're gonna wanna sell, because they don't need it, it's like.
Right.
how-
So, but that might be a place for us to go.
Oh, I think it is, because I talked to
The
that
town, you
guy,
know, the town's gonna have to dig
they're
into its
interested, but
pockets.
for money, because they've got Association Road and other.
Right.
What are you
Now-
talking about?
This is out at, Mount Parnassus
Mount
on
Parnassus.
Smith Road.
Well, it's actually, it's on
Mount
Smith
where?
Road.
Yeah, Smith Road,
Smith Road.
Smith Road.
yeah.
Yeah, the cemetery out there.
It's the Mount Parnassus
Oh,
Cemetery
okay.
or something they call it out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, that's probably the one that's doable for expansion, because they could add.
Yep.
And I talked to the president of the association, so did Jim, and they're interested in it, but they want something for it, they're not gonna just hand it to you.
Just Wildwood?
Yeah, Wildwood, good,
Well, they got a tax break on it.
yeah, well, they were
It's off
looking,
the tax
they're
bill.
looking for something, because they got roads to fix, and they're trying to get a well drilled and all this, they got a lot of things
Oh, they
going
got
on.
money
So-
that they need, yeah.
So
How's the
they,
soil out there, Jim?
well, I think could
It's
be
a little
partially
better.
wet, but it's
Yeah, but
decent. It's
yeah.
not terrible. And that's more of the same, because you're going farther up gradient.
Uphill,
Yeah,
right.
so it'd be equally as good as what they had.
Just one more question. How much land do we need?
Haven't given that a thought yet.
I don't know, we'll have to discuss it.
Well, let's see, we got
Seven,
six
you got 7
I'm
right
already
here.
taken care of.
by 9,000.
Well, there's more and more not being buried, but,
Yeah,
Well,
well,
even, people who are cremated still take, you know.
yeah, they take a plot.
And there are also different types of cemeteries.
Yeah.
You have your nature, cemeteries where people will put their ashes like in a tree or under it and things like that, almost like a walk. And so,
up in Maine, they had the new one, which was composting natural in a pine box. You go out in the woods, they GPS the spot, they drop you in the pine box, there's no stone, there's nothing, you let the trees grow back. And then out in Washington State, they have the composting, they put you in a tumbler.
no.
Well, that's a bit much, you know, and it's like,
You're
okay.
dead, what do you care?
I had to do one of those for a cattle farm, like they put the dead cow in there and like, at the end of the week, it's gone. I'm like, I don't wanna know.
Now, we have all this open space that the town owns. Are there objections to parceling out a parcel for a cemetery?
The ones that were donated or participated with the state,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
The ones that
be
we
a
bought
problem, huh?
outright, might have something there, especially if it's the natural ones.
things you
where
learn.
You know, you go right back to, you know, you're not making.
A lot to be said for
Mark of
those.
it.
You know, I mean, we have all these parcels, then we can't even
Okay, let's,
use an acre for a cemetery, you know?
what's that? Yeah, I know, but we were talking, you're right at 8, and that's 5 minutes. It's like a bar phone, I'm in a bar clock. Okay, so it's 8 o'clock, I'll call the public hearing section, portion of this meeting to order. The East Haddam Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a hearing on Tuesday, June 11th, 2019 at 8 PM at the Municipal Office Complex, Meeting Room 1 and 2, 1 Plains Road, Moodus, to hear the following. Continued, 19-07, 90 Maple Avenue, James A. Riley, applicant, Ballack Realty Association, owner, special exception review for an addition to a portable food service unit, assessors map 37, lot 88. At this hearing, interested persons shall be heard and correspondence received. What do we have, Jim?
Well, first, there's a site one, do you have the green cards? The certified return receipt.
Oh, I don't, I didn't know anything about it, I know, I'm substituting for Jim, we had a death in the family, and, yeah, he didn't know about it, I mean, I do have one that was sent back, proof that we did
Okay,
send him out.
so
I don't know
he's gonna owe it to us. If
Okay,
there was
I'm
40
sorry.
people here, we'd be going, oh boy.
Yeah, which way did I pass it to you, I mean, this one came back, I'm not sure who he is, but, that was returned. Sent a
Okay.
memo out,
Yeah, well, sometimes people don't respond to them. Okay, so the second part is you have a site plan here that shows the location in relationship to the farm, the barns, Maple, it's behind, it's not out front. Mobile food units are permitted through special exception review, and what we're typically looking at is there gonna be any problem with the traffic in the streets? Or anything like that. And we also have the property owners here, because that was always a big one. We had that come up the other day. So the guy says, I want a permit for food. And they said, well, you need to go to the property owner to get the permit signed and put it in. Well, I'm just gonna go to the Rotary Pond. No, someone sent them off, Nancy sent them off saying, not until you have the Lions Club,
Say it's okay.
say it's okay and go sign the application.
Never that.
The applicant's already gone to the Chatham Health District and gotten those things, which is one of the criteria. Clearly meets the setback of 20 feet from the property lines because it's in the middle of a huge lot. It has over the 4 parking spots provided. We have a rule here, only one mobile food unit permitted per parcel unless permitted otherwise by the commission. It's the only one that we have application. So as far as that, and the hours of operation limited between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. And the food permitted is only what Chatham will allow, because that's based upon the facility's capacity.
Is it every day, or what is this?
Well, right now, I think we had in the narrative Saturday and Sundays.
I know it's Saturday and Sundays, we'd like it to be maybe Thursday through Sunday, just 4 days a week
Thursday through Sunday.
in the future.
And I'm sorry, for the record, you are who?
Jody Riley, owner, he was my husband, yeah.
What would your hours be?
9 to 3.
And 9 to 2 on Sundays.
That's not what I just heard, is it?
Yeah,
No,
you
no,
said-
the regulations say they can be,
Okay.
which we always recommend that you use what the regulation allows.
Which allows for a lot more than you're asking for, so that
Yeah.
gives you the flexibility to do what you need to do, when you wanna do it.
And ask us for what you want, not what you think you might need. So if you want Thursday to Sunday, ask for it, please.
You don't have to take those hours, you can work a lot less,
But
but.
it's easier to do it now than to come back later, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'd like Thursday through Sunday.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Now, is this a truck, what is it?
That's fine.
It's actually a converted shipping container.
Okay.
It's no wheels. We bring it on a flatbed truck.
Okay.
It's easily removed. Yeah. Years ago, it was at Deep River Town Landing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does it get power hookup, or
It's
is
a
it?
generator.
It has,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
independent,
It's
okay.
past L,
Yeah.
every kind of inspection and health
Yeah.
inspector and all that. Yeah.
So Chatham has
Already approved.
already
yeah.
approved, okay.
Yeah.
And the only other question I have is and we're not blocking off the back of the bay for circulation, are we? That's a terminal bay?
There's a big field right there that you drive on. No problem.
Or-
Go to the backside, yeah.
oh,
And I guess my question is there any additional signage other than what Alex has already established?
We do have a sign. I don't think it's actually up yet.
We have a sign down by the road by their Alex sign.
So is that a temporary sign or a permanent sign?
It's just a temporary.
Temporary.
sign.
Well, let's talk about what temporary means.
It's not in the ground.
So it's like an A-frame?
It's propped up against their,
It's flat.
Okay.
We'll add that.
The only
to
thing about the
approval.
signs is that as long as it qualifies as a temporary sign, you're good to put it up whenever you need
Well,
to.
even as a permanent sign, so how large?
Permanent has to meet certain
Roughly.
requirements.
Roughly, it is. It's maybe. You think it's 5? Yeah, 4
I think
maybe.
it's about 3.5 by 2.5, maybe it's 3 by 2.
I don't even think it's that tall. It's.
Go out and measure it.
Service that goes back to the
that's
container,
6 square
put
feet.
out front to designate what the container structure is about. yay long by about.
So what's in there? I thought it was 6 square feet, or is it less? Or is it
No,
more?
it's more.
More, okay.
more.
Temporary is more, all right.
Cause it's, well, even a permanent sign could be, you know.
Tony, do you know most of the players here? The people?
I know Nancy,
Okay, you know Scott?
and she's got her part.
Husband, I'm
Husband.
Mr.
I'm
Reed's
sorry.
husband.
Just get names
And
for the
you-
record.
I know you introduce yourself and you.
I'm Jamie Guerin.
Okay.
I'm the manager of the
Thank you.
container.
How do you spell your last name?
Gahran.
I mean, technically, because of the frontage of the building and the size of it, they got a lot of room. And I don't think it's gonna exceed 20 square feet.
Oh,
right?
God.
Right, yeah.
No.
I think we're good. I will request you just measure it, take a picture and add it to the application.
They can hand it in with green cards.
Yeah.
They can hand it in with the green cards.
And the green card.
Because we will need those.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get
Okay.
them from Jim, yeah.
We got our green card.
Well, you mailed it back, or you signed it and they kept it, right?
We don't have it.
We don't have it.
That's what counts.
We need
It's
it.
just what he got from the post office,
Yes.
that's proof that he sent it, yeah,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll get that.
Well, let me ask the question. Since we don't have any green cards, can we still act on this, or do we have to make sure that we get them all back before we act on it?
The only thing you can not act to under the statutes is a lack of a health or, well, public health issue. You can condition the approval upon receival of
Green
the
cards.
green cards, yes. But if there was no septic report, and
Yeah.
if one was needed, then you couldn't act on it.
Correct. Okay.
So there's no lighting involved or anything else that we have to do? Okay.
Can I bring them to someone tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions from the commission? I'll open it to the public for questions and comments.
Is the trailer gonna stay there all year, or is it gonna come off when it gets cold out?
Yeah, they'll come out when it's cold.
So this is seasonal?
Yes.
Do you know what the season is?
We haven't really, have we discussed it really yet? No, we were kind of just seeing how it goes. It's not gonna be too long of a season, I think.
It's not a heated,
Jim
it's
said
not
earlier.
a special heat, so it's uncomfortable if it
Okay,
gets
so,
cold.
yeah,
Right.
It's all, yeah,
so Mother Nature will control that, huh?
yeah.
I imagine it'll be when gardening season's going.
Yeah.
April
it's
to
common
October or
in
something.
Garden season right now.
Right.
and Also farmer's market.
Okay.
It's coincidental to farmer's market.
Okay. Do you have any correspondence?
None needed.
Okay.
Because I
But you
just-
got
double
Chatham
checking.
House
I got
approved.
Chatham Health just to approve it, yeah.
Okay.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right?
Any opposed? Okay. Any questions, comments from the commission? Anyone in the
I'll make a
right
motion
mind?
to approve 1907 90 Maple Avenue, James A. Riley, applicant Ballot Realty Associates, owner, special exception review for the addition of a portable food service unit, assessors map 37, lot 88, with the condition that the green cards be submitted to the land use administrator and that the, any signage meet the regulations. Is there any other condition?
If it differs from what was in the application, then the hours of operation and days of operation.
I think they went to Thursday to Sunday,
Thursday, Sunday.
7 a.m. to
Okay.
8 p.m.
And that the hours of operation be Thursday through Sunday, and the hours were
7 to 8.
7 to 8?
7 a.m.
7 a.m. to 8
7
a.m.
a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
7, I know, I'm
It's not a
sorry.
lotto announcement, yes.
Oh, it
7
just
a.m.
covers
to
it.
8 p.m.
Those would be the maximum hours of operation.
Right.
We don't wanna make them open at
Yeah,
7.
yeah. I mean, then you can fill in whatever you want in those hours. Okay. All in favor? Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much.
Okay, so where were we on our discussion of cemeteries and or land.
Say hello to Jim for me.
Thank you.
Well, I have what seems to me the obvious solution is instead of scurrying around looking for more land to bury people, first we request or submit a petition that human beings are not permitted to die in East Haddam, and if they do, they're not permitted to be buried in East Haddam. End of discussion.
Unless they already have a lot.
Well, if they got a lot, we got the land.
You know,
Yeah.
we do have a river and it does flow away from town.
That's right.
They used to,
And we can make little Viking ships.
yeah, they used to do that.
Right down Nordic, good speed. Slide 'em into the
Do any of these cemeteries have any other additional areas? I mean,
Well,
Jewish
my-
Cemetery added on some a few years ago, right?
My thought is if we took them all and broke a few at a time, I could do a GIS map, do the overlay photo, do the topography, the soils, and then we, you know, maybe 5 at a
Look at
time
it.
and go through it, you know?
Well, you probably know. Have any of the private owners been contacted? I mean,
No.
about maybe, like, for instance,
No one
yours?
has even, we haven't even started this.
You have a lot of vacant land around yours that could, I
Right.
mean, let's say you said, okay, I don't want it to be a private cemetery because you don't want to be responsible for it, and you turn it into a public one and add an acre to it or a half acre or whatever.
Correct, but no one.
No one's approached anybody.
No one
yet,
has approached anyone because no one has,
officially.
well, put it this way, the selectmen felt that it was not the responsibility of the town to supply people with land to be buried on. That was the response that we got 6 years ago. Now they seem to be kind of changing a little.
Because they're 6 years older.
I'm 6 years older, okay.
Well, but that's a whole other discussion with the selectmen and the cemeteries and the cemetery commission and the whole 9 yards, so.
But if it might be useful to clarify that the Board of Selectmen are taking the position that the town does want to assume some kind of responsibility for providing some burial opportunities. Because if we run around for the next 2 or 3 months working like little beavers and say, oh, we could do this, this, and this, and they say, we don't care.
Yeah, right.
We've wasted our time.
Right.
Well, it was brought up in the minutes of a selectmen's meeting that they wanted land use to take on the responsibility of looking for more land. I read it, and that's when I directed Jim to
Right.
say
But
that planning and zoning, the elected officials could do this instead. So,
There's a second layer of problem, or layer of concern here, is suppose we run around and find another 20 acres somewhere. But it's not free.
well, then it goes
Now
to
the process is, it's gonna have to go to the Board of Selectmen for appropriate money to the Board of Finance and to the voters.
Correct.
So that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it, that's just saying,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we can't control that part. I mean, you know,
Right, we're just in charge of the land and.
Trying to
like we
figure out,
found the land for the
can
middle
something
school.
be done?
Once we identify the land, then
Yeah.
there might be avenues for, you know, state
But
aid to
I still
buy.
think the open space, like for
Or-
instance,
or-
whether it's Nichols property
give us the
or,
land, we'll
let's
bury
say,
you your
the one I'm thinking of
heirs
is
and
the Harris
assigns.
property up there, there's quite a bit of acreage there, even though some of it's not appropriate, I know that, but, is that blocked from use for any?
Certain portions are and certain
You know,
aren't.
plug, whatever that, oh, you.
Yeah, it died, so give
So
me
we'll
an
just take,
example.
we'll just take 5 at a time and go from
Yeah,
there.
the example came in, a guy came in and he said, I'm looking for a cemetery for East Haddam. This is a decade ago. And he said, because I've been having this horrible time. I had these guys go and tell me that this plot was good, and he wanted to get himself between New York and Boston and in the country. That's what he wanted. That's what his goal was. So I said, fine. But he says, we went to buy this piece of property and we bought it. And then the health officials came and told us it was all useless. And so I said, oh, go ahead, give me your street address. And I pulled up the USGA, mapping.
Yeah.
Plotted it all out. Well, it was red. I said, the whole thing's soaking wet. He goes, and we bought that. He goes, that took you 5 minutes to go through and tell me that it was not gonna be usable. I said, here's a great tool. Don't get taken again. But they got taken. And,
Where was this piece?
Oh, in Scotland, they were looking for it. And,
Oh.
Yeah, and they got taken. I said, you actually bought that? I said, I'd go back and start suing people because it's not suitable for anything. So that's what we want to be able at least to present to anybody. Even if it's not asked now and someone comes back to it 15 years later, you could say, look, don't bother here, and here because the soil layers tell you no.
Well, I know people do buy, I know there's a piece, that was bought on the internet that's nothing but wet every inch of it. It was like 2 acres. And I don't know, they bought it through some California thing,
Oh, yeah?
existing lot. So they
Oh.
thought it was gonna be usable somehow, and of course, it's like disaster.
It's gone.
Completely useless.
Yep.
But somebody spent money, now they're stuck with a lot that they, pay taxes on, they might as well give it to somebody
Can't
for
do
open
anything
space.
with.
I don't know what you could use it for open space,
Did I-
right at Corsack's house.
Corsack's right next door.
there, home. So-
Did I hear you say that the Harris property wouldn't be allowable for?
Portion is, a portion is. The portion in the front is town, we paid for municipal use. The one in the back is open space, and I'm 98% sure, but I'll double check, but I think anything bought with the land use, that acquisition money.
Yeah.
I think is
Gotta
locked,
stay.
it's gotta stay as open space.
So the hatch lot is like that also.
Yes, yep.
On Clark Hill Road at the bottom, that's also, but
You didn't want a center for community agriculture and a commercial kitchen? Well, you get a graveyard. Simple. Done. We're done.
for the one at the bottom
The
of
discussion.
Clark Hill Road at the bottom of Mill Road that also then would be out. There's a land.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, cause we use DEP funding for that too.
okay.
Yep.
Now, what about something like that, the Miller property and that's not very appropriate either, but that's just bought with the land trust, however they got their funding,
If they got funding from DEP, then
Oh.
it'd be no also, yeah, there's a.
on the entire
Yeah,
parcel.
yeah.
Even though they only partially fund you, they never
Right,
give you all of it.
right, they,
But
you
then they
write,
get all the control.
you rarely write a conservation easement that gives them all the control, it stays in a forested, wooded, state.
No, I like Jim's suggestion. It seems like Smith Road Cemetery is probably the most practical.
Well, that's a doable one.
Yeah, but we need to, we have
There's
time, we
probably
don't have a
more.
lot on the board right now.
No, it's
So-
just,
There's probably more, but like Ackley
Let's look at 'em
Cemetery,
all.
that triangle is used up.
The
and where do you
triangle's
go?
a
I mean,
triangle.
Yeah.
You'd have to go across the road, there's a little knob across the road.
Is there?
Yeah.
Little mound?
Yeah,
That might be doable.
about an acre.
Oh.
And you know what, I think so that was, whoever had the question was, how many plots can you fit in an acre, so I will find out. Cause that's
Well, you can stack quite a few of those urns. It seems to me, but I don't know about
Well,
bodies.
if it's boxes, it's, you have to allow 10 feet.
10 feet if they're actually.
Yeah, when you start making your rows,
caskets,
it's 10 feet.
That's what it
Every
is?
10 feet.
Every
is the
10
row.
feet.
But I know it changes if it's, if you have a section that's just for urns. But Carl.
Well, I mean, you can put one urn right next to the other or whatever. I mean, you can put 5 urns next to each other.
Correct, but
and
instead
have
of
a
laying it
family
out
there.
for 10 feet, then it's
That's what
a
you
lot
have.
closer.
Well,
So,
instead of, if you're doing that,
but that's, we're
instead
getting,
of worrying about putting the urns in the ground, you build a big thing this big with a cart or two in the middle, and you just go, you're on
Yeah.
yeah.
row 6,
I know,
shelf
yeah, the
4.
We
warehouse.
don't live in
is
Paris
the
or
fact.
something,
I
so.
know.
I don't know.
Florida's
Of course
lower.
is, we should
But that's
To
kind
be
of.
thorough, we
I'm
should
not into
also
being
consider
warehoused myself,
the,
but-
you're buried, but you're not buried forever. In Europe, you're not buried forever in a lot of places.
No.
After 100 or 200 years, we dig you up, put the bones in a nice
really?
Grinding machine.
catacomb and
Well, in Greece,
bury more people.
you're
Or
buried in the ground
in
until your bones
New
are
Orleans.
picked dry,
You're not there forever.
and then your bones are put behind the altar.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Where's that?
You do a lot of research, huh?
Well, it was in a book,
Oh.
a true story.
Rather morbid conversation.
Can you do me a favor?
Curry's getting up there and
Uh,
thinking about the,
Alternatives to, alternative burial.
Yep.
There are
You know
alternative
what? The
cemeteries.
Brownell warehouse down there,
Yeah.
you could stack, I mean, I've been in these
Oh.
in Florida and they are like a warehouse full of
I don't think
bodies.
you
My
said
aunt and uncle are in
Yeah.
one, and
Six,
they,
eight
they
feet.
paid more to be on the top.
Wrote the
They
top
did.
bunk and small.
Paid more,
You've heard
so
of a room
my
with a
aunt, my
view,
aunt
right?
didn't want people dripping on her.
My parents, my mother's parents, they went out with the tide.
There you
You
go.
can skip that part.
That's right.
That's-
They went out with the tide.
That's the way to
Their
go.
actions went, and that was it.
You're not taking
Okay.
up any space.
This is a step in the right direction.
So suppose, I'm sorry, Kurt, but is the plan then, is like, I'm kind of thinking about, that we chop off 4 or 5 of these and say, Jim,
Yeah,
take a look at
That's what
numbers
we do.
1 through,
yeah, how many are there total?
I'm sure you've already done that, right?
No, I haven't
Oh, you haven't,
actually,
okay.
So divide it up into, yeah, even numbers, and we'll go from there.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, like
Yeah,
one.
actually, I wanna go and
Every
kinda
meet-
look at them and
Yeah,
see
every
if
meeting we'll
there's usable space, or even
Oh,
like
oh,
his.
oh,
That
now
might
we
be
know about
fixable.
those.
He's got a high water table.
This might work, it might not, we'll get a list together,
And he's
present
got-
it, do a field walk, whatever, and we'll go
He's
from
got a
there.
lot of land.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Before-
Yeah. Okay,
We're good.
motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Any opposed? Okay,
We're out of here.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye.
Aye.
Yes,